Most people think Baymax was built to save the day. But what if he was actually Hiro's escape hatch from reality? This isn't a hero story. It's something much deeper and far more human. After Tadashi's death, Hiro doesn't cry, he doesn't scream, he retreats into silence, into his room, into himself. And then, Baymax awakens. Not as a symbol of hope, but as Hiro's escape hatch from a world that's just shattered. On the surface, Baymax is a healthcare robot, diagnosing injuries, dispensing advice, saying things like, there. But underneath, he becomes something far more complex, an emotional stand-in for Hiro's pain. A crutch, not a cure. Think about how we use AI today. Apps like Wobot or Wysa that mimic empathy. They check in, offer comfort, simulate connection, but sometimes they don't help us heal, they help us avoid. And that's what Hiro's doing. He's not confronting his grief, he's coding around it. Every time Baymax speaks, Hiro hears Tadashi. Every upgrade, every tweak is Hiro trying to keep his brother alive through machinery. It's grief disguised as innovation, and it's easier to talk to a robot than to face the emptiness someone left behind. Baymax becomes his emotional buffer, soft, gentle, predictable. But grief? Grief is messy, loud, uncontrollable. Baymax makes it neat, manageable, but that comfort comes with a cost, because tech can soothe, but it can also numb. Just like we use screens to scroll past sadness, Hiro uses Baymax to sidestep despair. It feels safe, but it's hollow, and that's the trap. When we rely on digital empathy to carry emotional weight, we risk losing touch with the real, raw process of healing. Hiro didn't build Baymax to save others. He rebuilt him to save himself. To hold the grief at bay, just long enough to breathe, just long enough to pretend it's okay. But here's the question no one asks. If Baymax is just a band-aid, what wound was Hiro so desperate to hide? Tadashi wasn't just Hiro's brother, he was Hiro's anchor, his guide, the one person who saw more in him than Hiro saw in himself. So when Tadashi dies, it's not just loss, it's identity collapse. And what's Hiro's first response? Denial. This can't be happening. He isolates, withdraws, refuses to attend school. But beneath the silence is a second emotion, anger. Not loud or violent, but buried deep in every decision Hiro makes next. It's the classic beginning of the Kubler-Ross grief cycle. Denial, then rage. And if you've ever watched a teenager spiral after losing someone close, you've seen this before. Skipping steps, shutting down, lashing out in ways that look like rebellion, but are really grief in disguise. Hiro's grief isn't loud, it's brilliant. His mind doesn't break, it builds. But not from hope, from heartbreak. He doesn't process Tadashi's death. He tries to outthink it, tries to make it make sense, tries to fix a world that feels broken beyond repair. It's a move we see in real life too, where people dive into projects, school, even perfectionism, just to avoid feeling helpless. But grief doesn't disappear when you bury it in blueprints. And as Hiro builds, the question isn't how smart he is. It's how much pain he's hiding behind the circuits. Because the moment Baymax is turned into a weapon, something changes. His next invention isn't just about helping others. It's about control. It's about rage. And it looks like genius, but it's actually a cry for help. Grief is a strange thing. It can destroy people, or forge them into something new. For Hiro, it becomes fuel. His mind kicks into overdrive, and what begins as mourning turns into mission. But there's a fine line between brilliance and obsession, and Hiro starts to cross it. Baymax, once a soft caregiver, is now being armored, coded, weaponized. This isn't about saving lives anymore. It's about proving something, gaining control in a world that just took everything from him. We've seen this before in the real world. Steve Jobs lost his biological family, felt abandoned, and used that pain to create beautifully controlled systems. Apple wasn't just a tech company. It was his way of reshaping the chaos. Viktor Frankl, surviving the horrors of the Holocaust, said it best. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Hiro is facing that exact choice: transform pain into purpose or let it consume him. The danger is, obsession can look like progress until it spirals. And that's what's happening. His upgrades to Baymax aren't just improvements, they're projections. Hiro is coding his grief into every line, rewriting loss into power. But power without peace is a ticking bomb, because Hiro's not just building a robot, he's building a shield from his own reflection. And this obsession? It's about to unveil Baymax's true purpose, and it's heartbreakingly profound. And hey, if you're finding value in these deeper breakdowns, there's more where this came from. For real psychological storytelling hidden in anime, check out Stoic Masculinity is Destroying You. Thorfinn proves it. It connects perfectly here. And if you're into anime, psychology, and emotional truth, hit subscribe. You'll feel right at home. Baymax was never designed for combat. His code, at its core, is built around care, around presence, around empathy. That's what makes him different from any other invention in Hiro's world. While Hiro pushes for upgrades and efficiency, Baymax resists. He doesn't evolve into a warrior. He remains a healer. And that's not a glitch. That's the point. Baymax operates on a philosophy called care ethics, a framework that prioritizes relationships, vulnerability, and emotional truth over cold utility. In real-world medicine, we're seeing the same shift. From robotic surgeries to AI-assisted therapy, the most successful models aren't just those that work faster. They're the ones that connect, that build trust, that sit with pain rather than rush to fix it. And that's exactly what Baymax does. He doesn't lecture Hiro, he listens, he waits, he offers help without forcing it. In a world obsessed with optimization, Baymax is a quiet rebellion, an argument for soft strength. And maybe that's the real lesson Hiro needed. Because healing isn't about upgrades or revenge, it's about learning to feel again, about asking for help, letting yourself be held. And that kind of vulnerability? That's where true courage begins. But if Baymax was Hiro's guide back to healing, why did their final showdown feel so tragic? The final battle in Big Hero 6 isn't just between heroes and villains, it's Hiro versus himself. Outwardly, he's commanding Baymax, pushing him to fight, to destroy. But internally, it's a war between grief and healing. That moment when Hiro tells Baymax to destroy, it's not about justice, it's about unresolved pain screaming for release. It's the psychological mirror of PTSD, where unprocessed trauma hijacks logic and turns survival into self-destruction. Just like combat veterans reliving battles long after the war ends, Hiro is trapped in an emotional loop, acting out rage he doesn't understand, driven by a loss he's never truly faced. And Baymax? He doesn't fight back. He doesn't escalate. He offers the one thing Hiro needs most, a choice. Is this what Tadashi would have wanted? That line cracks Hiro's armor, not with force, but with compassion. Because real victory doesn't come from destroying your enemy. It comes from disarming the war inside you. And in that moment, Hiro finally begins to let go. Not of Tadashi's memory, but of the pain that's kept him from living. In the end, Baymax wasn't just a robot. He was Hiro's silent plea for help. A soft, steady reminder that healing doesn't come through revenge, or brilliance, or distraction. It starts with one terrifying act, being honest about your pain. And that's a lesson we all need. If this hit you, this one will too. Stoic masculinity is destroying you, Thorfinn proves it. And it uncovers a twist even his fans never saw coming. And always remember, real heroes aren't unbreakable. They're the ones brave enough to heal.